What's good, y'all? I'm here to talk about the second of your 3 choices for your starter Pokemon in this hack. Keep in mind, none of these buffs are balanced or competitive play whatsoever. People who especially play VGC might be thinking, why the fuck would you buff Incineroar? What the fuck is wrong with you? It didn't need buffs. It's a great Pokemon. In this ROM hack, every single Pokemon is buffed. It has awesome new tools to work with, great utility things in-game. Every Pokemon has 2 great new abilities that they can switch between with an infinite usability capsule that your starter will come holding. Another thing I want to mention before I get into the meat and potatoes of the buffs and changes here is to check out the Google Sheet in the description. It takes me a lot of work to make these Google Sheets, and it's kind of a shame if you don't end up using them to check out all the buffs and changes, especially for moves, because I buffed and changed 600 plus moves in this hack. There are 130 plus custom brand new moves, and basically every move is buffed or changed in their effects, and those are really important to understand how the Pokemon function now, and there's not enough time in all these videos to cover all those changes, so please give those a look, alright? You won't regret it. The Google Sheets are very easy to navigate, organized into several different categories, and yeah, it's a good time. So, with that being said, Incineroar and Torracat. Incineroar is by far my least favorite of the 3 starters. I hate Incineroar. It was really disappointing for me when it first came out. That doesn't mean I'm going to give it any less good buffs, though. And I'm sure a lot of people love Incineroar. I know that a lot of people love Incineroar, so, you know, I respect your opinion. It's just not for me. Torracat's awesome, though. But, yeah, technically you could also use a Violet Torracat. It's not an Eviolite intended Pokemon. If you are a returning viewer, you probably know what I mean by that. But if you're a new viewer, I recommend you just check out the Google Sheets and also look at the other videos if you want. But yeah, I made sure to give them all great utility from when you first, get them as your starter. For Hala, for the first Totem, for all these other boss fights, they're all going to have great moves. They're all very equal choices. I wouldn't say any of them are better than one another. And yeah, Torracat does have the advantage of being faster than Incineroar, and it is a pure fire type, which has a different, type effectiveness than a fire dark type. I actually wanted to make Torracat fire dark and Brionne water fairy, but I realized that fire dark is worse objectively for Hala, and it loses a bug resist, and it loses a fairy resist, so I was like, you know what, I'll let it be pure fire. That makes Torracat a bit more unique. Yeah, Blaze and Intimidate, great abilities. Blaze is good with the infinite usability capsule for certain boss fights. You can use your Endure TM plus something like Flame Wheel, which now gives you a +1 speed boost, and you can get +1 speed. Blaze boosted Flame Wheels coming off of 90 base attack is really strong with a Lychee Berry, which you can buy those very early game as well, so that's why Endure plus Blaze type abilities is really good, especially for early game. Later on, not as great, but for certain fights you can still take advantage of it. For example, for Lurantis, you can take advantage of that. Even technically for Araquanid, although it's a bit more situational. But they'll all have good utility. Of course, they keep the ability Intimidate. Literally every Pokemon in this game that has Intimidate has Parting Shot via TM, so this is nothing special anymore, but it's still a great tool to have, Intimidate, Parting Shot. You have Taunt, you got U-Turn, you've got Morning Sun as Torracat for Hala, which is great with Intimidate. 65, 60, 60 bulk as a pure fire type with Intimidate, especially at that point in the game, is pretty damn tanky, so that's great for Hala. All 3 of the starters have good options for Hala, of course. I tried to do that intentionally. For example, Smog for the first totem will always poison, and Leer and Growl are great stat dropping moves that are buffed, and Torment plus Protect can stop them from using a specific move. Flame Wheel, like I said earlier, gives you speed, which is awesome, especially for Incineroar. I min-max or drop stats on Pokemon a lot in this hack. Incineroar, it is one of your 3 starters, so I want it to be really good. So that's why I dropped special attack a bit for a little bit more speed. I think 80 base speed does pretty well. You can use that in conjunction with Flame Wheel and Moxie, which is Incineroar's secondary, very fitting ability. Intimidate's still incredible. You got that Intimidate Parting Shot, you got Time Out, which, so basically, if you didn't teach Morning Sun, or if you deleted Morning Sun, for example, you'll run Morning Sun for a bit for Hala, then you'll delete it, and then once you hit 36 and evolve, you get Time Out, which is another recovery move that heals you by 50%. I think it's pretty fitting for Incineroar as well, him calling a timeout as like a hero wrestler. That's pretty great as well, just for bulkier Incineroar sets, which you can use, because in this ROM hack, not only do you have access to infinite usability capsules, you also have infinite EV training items and access to all of these great TM and tutor moves, and tons of awesome level up moves that you should pick between. Battle Cry is a great utility move that drops attack and special attack by 2. Roar is useful utility, although honestly I would run Roar for the Z move, which is why I put it past Nanu. Once you beat Nanu, you'll get the Dark EMZ, and then Z-Roar will give you a free +2 attack boost. I might have changed it to +1, I honestly forget. I think it's still +2 for now. So that will give you free +2 attack. You also have priority in the form of Pyro Dash and Sucker Punch. So that's really awesome. And when I say free +2 attack, it's because Roar has 2 PP, and same with Whirlwind, has 2 PP, and is priority. Again, I just recommend you check out the Google Sheet to look at all the move buffs and changes, because I don't have time to get into them all here. Burn Up is awesome for Torracat for Olivia because it will always burn, and it's 140 base power, so despite having a low special attack stat, that'll do some decent damage for some of her Pokemon. But the main reason you're using that is to not only guaranteed burn the opponent, so you intimidate, then you burn up, and you burn them, you also lose your fire typing, so then they'll use a rock move on you, and you're not weak to it anymore. And that's a beautiful combination, and at that point you can switch out, you can parting shot out, and now whatever the hell's in front of you is like completely neutered. You know, say she has her ace, you know, with the Z move, like it's fucked now. It's dealing no damage. So that's a great tool for Olivia, which is why I put it just at level 32, which is pretty early for burn up, but since it's not a special attacker, I figured, you know, and it's also your starter, I want them all to be really good and have good options throughout the game. That goes for all Pokemon, though, of course, in this hack. Yeah, Moxie plus Flame Wheel is awesome. Moxie plus Finishing Blow. Raging Fury gives you +1 attack, and that doubles to 100 base power if you moved last. So you can use Raging Fury or Flame Wheel, and then, like I said, you got Sucker Punch and Power Dash for priority. Keep in mind that setup moves have nerfed PP in this hack, and setup moves in general are not the most viable thing. The climate is pretty damn hostile towards setup moves, although with that speed boosting option and your decent bulk, you can tank some priority moves like First Impression and probably maybe get a sweep going, especially with Drain Punch or Timeout to heal yourself when you need to. At the very least, you could take out a few Pokemon on the opponent's team with Moxie and Incineroar, which is really all you could ask for in a hack like this. You know, that's a lot of Pokemon to take out with one Pokemon on your team. So yeah, otherwise you have really powerful stab moves late game, all types of great TMs and tutors for incredible coverage moves that you can check out what all these do in the description below, because I do not have time to get into them all. But yeah, Moxie's very fitting for Incineroar. I don't think I even have to explain for half a second why I gave it that. Attack stat fits it a lot better, speed stat fits it a lot better. I was originally going to drop the bulk to like 80 or 85, but it's a starter, it's one of your three, I may as well just let it be great. Not drop the bulk for balancing reasons, more because there's way bulkier things in this hack. But it was more just like I didn't think 90 base defense or special defense fits in Incineroar's design, but I'll let it rock. It's fine. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, you got Flare Blitz and Brutal Swing. Your Z move is 250 base power. All three of the. I didn't mention this in the Decidueye video. It's funny because the Decidueye has Tinted Lens, so you could use that, which is really strong. But yeah, in-game, 250 base power Z move, Incineroar has the benefit of his being reteachable. Obviously, Spirit Shackle is a great move that you'd be keeping forever, ideally, or at the very least, it's forever if you have good physical IVs and stuff. But in Incineroar's case, Brutal Swing is what Darkest Lariat used to be. It's like confusing because I swapped the animations around, but Brutal Swing is the same as Flare Blitz. It's a recoil move now, which came from, like blanking on the words. It came from Darkest Lariat, while Hell Thrust comes from Throat Chop, that disables fairy moves for 2 turns, and that's reteachable via Ula Beach Tutor, so that's awesome to have a reteachable 250 base power Z move that can give you like a guaranteed Moxie boost on certain fights, and then you can use Flame Wheel, and now you're big chillin'. Of course, like I said, setup is nerfed, so you won't be able to sweep fights 6-0 unless you're really smart with how you plan out the turns and how you get the setup going, but in most cases you will not be able to sweep fights, but you can definitely get a couple kills, which is, like I said, more than enough. You got Knockout Punch, which makes the opponent drowsy. You got Submission, Wicked Blow, Blazing Assault. All these moves are widely distributed in this hack. Like, there's no... A lot of moves that used to be signature moves are exclusive are not anymore. So if you're new here and you're just looking at this and you're thinking, what the hell? Why is Incineroar Wicked Blow? It's the normal thing in this hack. Other than that, though, great options via TM and Tutor. I'm not even going to bother getting into them all, but what I will say is Grass not being physical is nice for Torracat and Incineroar. Like I said, a Violite Torracat is genuinely a viable option. It is a lot faster than Incineroar as well, which gives it good utility. 100 base speed, 90 base attack. Intimidate is a pure fire type, pretty bulky. You know, it's fun to use. I personally, if I do pick Litten, which I don't know if I will be, I will probably not evolve unless I have to, just because I'm a hater. I don't like Incineroar. And I like Torracat. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the video off there. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Again, really, I encourage you to check out that Google Sheet if you have yet to do so. Drop a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. And I appreciate you listening this far into the videos. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.